If it's possible, the American car business is in worse shape than we first thought. November sales figures are out and they're horrible. General Motors is saying without an influx of taxpayer money, they may not make it till the end of this year. They're warning that if they go, they could take the whole industry with them. The car makers say they need money and they need each other to stay in business. This time they say they have a plan for how to use the money and a plan to make money in the future in what is the toughest economic climate since the Great Depression. We begin tonight with CNBC's Phil LeBeau, who covers the car business for us. He's outside GM headquarters in Detroit. Phil, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Tonight, the big three are telling Washington they may need up to $34 billion. That is well above the $25 billion they've been talking about up until now. Whether or not they get it depends on whether or not Congress believes that Detroit's automakers can fix their businesses.
Skirting the edge of bankruptcy, General Motors hopes to remake itself into a leaner, greener, and hopefully profitable company. Over the next 3 years, it will cut up to 31,000 jobs, close 11 of 48 plants, and phase out 2,000 dealers, many leaving as GM looks to sell Saturn and Saab. All a part of GM's request for $18 billion in federal aid, including $4 billion it needs by the end of the month.
The need for liquidity and support is urgent, not only in terms of providing clarity and support, but also, frankly, the clouds, if you will, are affecting our car sales, actually.
GM sales in November plunged 41%, along with Chrysler's business being cut almost in half and Ford's falling by almost a third. It's fresh evidence the big three are struggling, adding a sense of urgency to the bailout plan on Capitol Hill, where many lawmakers are skeptical.
We want to see a commitment to the future. We want to see a restructuring of their approach, that they have a new business model.
Ford CEO Alan Mulally knows what Congress wants to hear.
We're going to give them dates and numbers for the profitability on cash flow and in profits.
Meeting daily with his top executives, Mulally has crafted a plan calling for Ford to be back in the black by 2011. And if his company takes a federal bailout, Mulally will cut his $21 million salary to $1.
I will work for $1 a year, and that was a very good learning experience over the last few weeks since the last hearing, because I'm very sensitive to borrowing money from the U.S. government.
Privately owned Chrysler is also asking for federal help. Today, its president warned reporters about what's at stake.
It's about saving jobs and preserving our way of life in America.
Tonight, Chrysler is asking for $7 billion. Its CEO, like the men who run GM and Ford, driving a hybrid model to Washington, D.C., where all three will be testifying on Thursday and Friday.